Okay, welcome. Hi, ladies. It is so nice to see your faces. But this is just a super casual how to navigate Clubhouse. It is really new and taking off very quickly. So I'm super thrilled to share with you what I've learned in the past month or so on Clubhouse. Feel free to ask any questions, but we're going to dive just right in. If you have any questions about who I am, because I know a lot of you we haven't met yet, I am a networking expert, but also a mindset expert and a business strategist. So I do a lot of public speaking and coaching. So if you have any questions, most of my rooms that I'm hosting on Clubhouse are about mindfulness, conscious entrepreneurship, business strategy, that sort of stuff. So I'm always looking for people to help moderate with me. So please send me a DM and I can get you included in some of the rooms I have coming up. Okay, so first thing that I have noticed is really helpful when figuring out how to navigate Clubhouse. Be very intentional about your intention. What do you want to do on Clubhouse? Are you on there for business, to grow leads, to network? Are you on there just for personal and you want to network and or learn and or all of the above? This will make it a lot easier for you to figure out how to use the platform and how to strategize, because I'm speaking from personal experience. When I first downloaded Clubhouse, and I don't know about you, I was on stimulation overload, and I really had to sit back and ask myself, okay, what do I want from this app to make it a lot easier for me to digest? And I'm going to go through my strategy and how I'm currently using Clubhouse as well. Okay, let's go right into the bio and your picture. So here's what I've seen, and I have little screenshots. Ooh, how do I go back? Oh man. Oh, there we are. Okay, so make sure you have a professional photo. It just makes you look more professional. Nobody knows who anybody is on Clubhouse. So if you have a professional photo, you kind of just look a little bit more legitimate. Another thing I've noticed, so what I did is I put my photo in Canva, which is just an editing tool. If you have any questions about Canva, let me know. But you can see here, I have a neon yellow circle around my face. You'll notice when you're in rooms, there are people that have now put circles around their photo like I did. The reason that people have done this is because when you're in a room with 30 or 300 people, your picture stands out a lot more if it has some sort of ring, circle, or color. Neon colors stand out more, but play around with that. You'll also probably see other people's and you can kind of see, you know, what you like better. But I personally would definitely recommend putting a circle because it just makes you stand out more in a huge sea of people. The first three lines, so you'll see here, I go, if you follow me, I put them in order. So that first square you'll see there, the first three lines are the most important lines. That's where you're going to want to say who you are and what you do. That's what people are going to see. Now you can see here that I put tap to view full profile. Why? Is because when you're in a room and someone clicks on your picture, they actually only see those top three lines. So if someone's new to Clubhouse, they don't know that they can actually click and then see the rest of it even when they're in a room. So I like to put that tap to view full profile to help guide people that are new to Clubhouse so they know and they can look at the rest of my profile even when they're looking at me in a room. Then I go on to put who I am, what I do, you know, my media appearances. And here's something really important to know. Every single thing on your profile is searchable, your interests and everything. So you'll see here, even in my interests on the last square, that I put Joe Dispenza, Abraham Hicks. I love them. I'm big practicers. I practice all of their principles and I'm a big learner of their tools. So when somebody puts in the search bar Joe Dispenza or Oprah or Abraham Hicks, my name will also come up. So all things on your profile are searchable. Same with emojis. You can actually search emojis. So use a lot of emojis in your profile and put a lot of your interests. You can see here, have separated them just because I think it's easier to read. With lines, you can see those lines, and I've separated them with titles. So topics I discuss, interests, and then it makes it a little bit easier. You can also see here that I have put when I host my Clubhouse rooms. That's only necessary if you actually host Clubhouse rooms and you want to share with people who you are, what you do, and where they can find you. Then you'll also notice, oh man, I keep clicking because I'm admitting somebody in. So you'll see here that I also put the bell notification. So you can see I have a couple prompts that are actually guiding people of how to use Clubhouse. So for example, you'll see here that, one second, I'm just trying to move this. There we go. Okay, thanks. So you'll see I said click the bell and turn on notifications to stay connected and get access to my rooms. You'll notice on everybody's profile in the top right-hand corner, you'll see a bell. This, when you turn the bell on, you'll get notifications every time they speak and every time they plan a room. So that's a really good way to connect, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. And then you'll see at the bottom, I put click below to follow on IG and Twitter. It's really important to give a call to action, especially if you're using Clubhouse for business. So here, my call to action right now is just follow me on Instagram, but you can also put a download this or DM me Clubhouse on Instagram to get my free Clubhouse download, whatever it is. A call to action is really important to encourage people to connect to you. So does that make sense? Are you following? Any questions about your picture or your bio? I'll let you throw those in the chat box if you do. Just one more thing to note, please link your Instagram and Twitter if you have it. It's really, you cannot message on Clubhouse. So the only way people can connect with you is through Instagram or Twitter right now. So make sure that's connected. And then the last thing to note, which you'll see below, is whoever nominates you into Clubhouse is forever attached to your profile. So this also encourages you to make sure that you are, I wouldn't say careful, but I'm going to use the word intentional of who you invite to Clubhouse, because your name is always attached to them. So you'll also notice when you're on Clubhouse, it may not be as often now, but you may get notifications that say so-and-so, you know, Amanda is on the wait list to get onto Clubhouse. Do you want to let her in? If you let her in, your name is going to be connected to her, just like it says down below there. Make sense? Okay, I don't see any questions about do I have any questions about bio? No. So I don't have any questions about the bio or picture. So we are going to move on to the next slide. Okay, invites and followers. I just said this, be intentional about your invites. If you are using Clubhouse for work, I would recommend giving those invites to people who have communities, who will really benefit from Clubhouse, right? You want for people, you want that person to be a representative of you. And when they look at, oh, who does Amanda? Who introduced Amanda onto this profile, you'll see. And I've actually done that when I've looked at other influencers or celebrities or business professionals. I've looked at, okay, who invited them? What does their network look like? So just be kind of intentional about that. We also will chat about who are you following. So this is not intuitive. And I actually had to change this because I didn't realize that this was a thing. Who you follow definitely matters, okay? So, and I'll tell you why. Who you follow will actually change the types of rooms that show up on your account. You may know it as a news feed. So when you first open Clubhouse, you have your news feed right there, basically. In Clubhouse, it's not called a news feed, it's called a hallway. So if I use the word hallway, that's what that is. So depending on who you follow, that changes the rooms you see in your hallway. So Clubhouse followers kind of work a little bit differently. You don't really want to follow that many people, or you don't want to follow people who don't have similar interests. So if you have a lot of friends that are maybe into sports and or anime or gaming, who knows, and that's not really your interest and you don't want to see those rooms, I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense to follow those people, right? So it's kind of counter to what we think, because I'm sure there's going to be some people that think, oh man, so-and-so's not following me. Did I do something? And Clubhouse kind of works a little bit different. You don't actually want to be following people, because your followers will dictate the experience you actually have on Clubhouse. So you want to follow people you like and that you want to learn from. Here, I mention it again. If you like a person and want to see when they're speaking, go onto their profile, turn their bell on in the top right-hand corner, and then you'll be notified. Notifications on Clubhouse do get a little crazy, and there's ways around it. Be careful of obviously who you're following and the clubs you're following, because those will also give you notifications. I get a lot of questions about how to actually grow your follower count on Clubhouse. So here are a few ways, but we are going to chat about this a little bit more in a couple slides. So when you get in rooms, ask questions. People are following like crazy right now. So if you get on stage and you ask a question, chances are you're going to get a couple followers. If you provide value and you add to somebody else's question, chances are you're going to get a few more followers. Now, depending on the size of the room, and I'll talk about this in a second, there are big rooms and small rooms. Sometimes it's easier to get on stage and provide value. Obviously, the smaller rooms, some people like those a lot better, because you can get on stage, you can build a tighter connection, and you can offer more value. In the bigger rooms, it's sometimes harder to even get on stage, and you're more likely to ask questions in a bigger stage than offer value, because on a bigger stage and in a bigger room, they probably have a lot more moderators, and half the moderators don't even get a chance to speak. You also want to network outside of the app by messaging them on Instagram, which we talked about in your profile. And then you're also going to want to create rooms and find other people to moderate with. These are all ways to grow your followers. And truthfully, the more you're on the app and the more you are in rooms and connecting and networking, the faster you're going to grow. Some of these people are literally on Clubhouse all the time. I personally can't do it, but if you can, great. Like I said, I was feeling super overstimulated, and I'm very much about mindfulness and feeling at peace, and it was definitely taking away some of my peace, so I had to make some compromises. But if you let me know if you have any questions. Let me see if there's some people in here. Right, okay, so we got a question about followers. So I just signed up. See, I'm already following 60 people. Don't even know how that happened. Interesting. Don't know the answer to that, but definitely go through. If you like what they have to say, great. If you don't, then just unfollow them. But here's something that's important. If you do want to co-moderate with someone, so let's say you want to co-moderate with me in any of my upcoming rooms, you have to be following me for me to actually add you as a moderator. I cannot add people who are not following me as a moderator. So that's also incentive to follow people that you like and you want to moderate with. So just keep your eye out for that as well. Okay, that's so weird that maybe, I'm not sure if this is a thing, but someone's saying that they are just automatically following 60 people. Not sure how that happens, but we can definitely look into it and see if that's something that is an update. I mean, what you'll notice, because Clubhouse is so new, there are definitely updates happening all the time. And so you just kind of have to keep on it. But that's what I want to do in the Facebook group, Ladies on Clubhouse. I want to continue to share updates, so that you can kind of stay in the loop. Any other questions about followers or invites? Yeah, so someone said they just joined and had the same experience, with losing some of their peace. Yep, totally. It's incredible. Yeah, I love it. So I'll keep going and share with you some of the other networking tips I have, but I would love to hear how Clubhouse is working for you also. Okay, so here, clubs. You can search clubs and people. So if you go to the top left-hand corner of your Clubhouse, you'll see the little magnifying glass, and that's how you search clubs and people. Here is when you can also test out the emojis and the Interest, that's where, depending on your bio, if you had lots of interests and lots of emojis listed, that's where people will find you. You can join clubs, and how you join clubs, you can join them by searching them in the search bar. You can also look on other people's profiles and check out what clubs they're a part of and then follow those types of people. You can also create your own club. Something to keep in mind, it is super backed up right now, and Clubhouse is just growing so quickly. So if you want to create a club, go do so on clubhouseguide.com. You'll see how to actually apply for a club. What they're recommending is start a couple rooms, start talking, get some experience, and then they'll approve you. So right now they're saying start at least 3 rooms, then apply for a club. But even that application is taking a while. I applied, so I do have some clubs of my own right now, but I wanted to create a ladies on Clubhouse club, and it's already been a week, I think, and still no approval. So just be patient with some of the updates and things that are happening on Clubhouse. You can also create rooms in other people's clubs. So what you'll notice, I have a bunch of rooms that I've started this week. So Tuesday to Thursday, like you'll see on my profile, I have clubs running. Tuesday to Thursday, I have rooms running. Tuesday to Thursday right now, I am actually trying something new, and I'm doing the room under a club called Women in Business. The reason that I've chosen to do this is everyone who follows that club will get a notification when you go live in your room and when you create the room. Does that make sense? Not all clubs allow this function. So keep an eye on what clubs allow you to create rooms under their clubs. And if they have a lot of followers, that may be a good alternative. If you don't have a lot of followers yet on Clubhouse, is to do some rooms within another club. So something to keep in mind. Again, your notifications, you will get notifications when people create rooms within a club. Now, I'm not really sure how this is going to work over time, because, for example, even a few clubs that I'm a part of that I've done rooms in, I just get so many notifications from those clubs that I'm almost leaning towards leaving the club because I get too many notifications. So I'm not sure how clubs will monitor that. I can change my notifications, but right now I can't specifically indicate what notifications I want. For example, I'd love to get notifications of the people that I have put a bell on, but I don't want to get all my notifications from my club. So we'll see if Clubhouse starts to change that. We have a question in here. If I request a club before moderating rooms, do you know if my request will be updated as I moderate this week? I'm not 100% certain what you mean by that. If you mean that will you still be approved even before you have hosted rooms? Chances are right now, clubs are really not getting approved very often. So just do the room. When your club gets approved, your club gets approved. If you haven't hosted rooms, you can still try to apply for a club. I'm not sure what their process is like in the back end to figure out if they're going to approve you or not. So when on the application, they do ask for your handle. So I'm not sure in the back end if they can tell how many rooms you've hosted or if it's just a suggestion. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Did I answer your question about the moderating rooms in the club? So I would just recommend, from a business perspective, just apply for a club and then create rooms, because you don't know when your club's going to get approved. Okay, great. Any other questions about clubs before we move on? Okay. We'll see. And again, we'll kind of see how clubs work their way out as we go along. Okay, rooms. This is big. So you can create your own room. You can co-moderate in somebody else's room, or you can attend someone's room. Okay. Now, again, these rooms can be just something that you create on your own by going to the calendar at the top right-hand corner and creating a room. Or you can, sorry, I just lost my train of thought. So you can either, so you can either create it on your own or you can connect it to a club. How you create the room is still exactly the same. You go to the top right-hand corner, you create a room, and when you create the room, it'll actually say connect to a club. And then you choose the club you want to connect to. That's also an easy way to see what clubs you follow allow you to create a room under their club. Now you can moderate, like I said, in other people's rooms. The best way, connect within the Ladies on Clubhouse Facebook group and find other people that want to create similar rooms to you, and then you can co-moderate together. This is also a great way to get more followers and expand your community because you're just getting in front of more people. Join other people's rooms in their audience. And that's also when you're going to start to see that your circle or whatever you surround your picture with will help you stand out in the audience. Now, here's one thing that I think is going to continue to evolve. Right now, it's kind of challenging to find rooms. So let me explain. It's challenging to find a room that somebody plans ahead of time. I recommend if you're going to start a room, plan it ahead of time. Even if you're just going to start it in 10 minutes, schedule your room for 10 minutes. This way, it'll add an additional notification and more people will be notified of your room. So to find rooms, let's say your friend Jessica creates a room and she says, hey, I'm on tomorrow at 7 p.m. Right now, it's kind of tough to find Jessica's room ahead of time. However, if she sends you a link to that room, so when you create a room, on the bottom, it'll say copy link. You can send that link to a friend and then that will give them access to your room, and then they can add a bell on the room so that they'll get notified when your room is there. If you can't find the room, here are some other hacks to find rooms at the time of the room. So if somebody posts even on Instagram, hey, I have a room happening next Tuesday, if they don't link the actual room, it's tough for me to find. So what I'll do is I'll put an alarm on my phone to remind me of that room. And then here's how I can follow it at that time. So if you go into Clubhouse, you can find rooms in your hallway. So that's basically in your news feed. It might pop up. It, however, is depending on how many people you follow, it does seem to be organized with the most amount of people in rooms will show up, right? So it really depends how many people you follow. So you can see rooms in your hallway. You can also go into your calendar icon at the top. And when you go into your calendar icon, on the right-hand side, there's going to be a little arrow that's pointing down, okay? You're going to click on that arrow and you can change. So right now, what it probably says when you go into your calendar, if you're following on your phone, you can see this, but if you go into your calendar on the top, it'll probably say upcoming for you with a little down arrow. Click that down arrow and then you can change. You'll be able to sort by your events or even all upcoming events. You may be able to find additional rooms in all upcoming, and you'll be able to see all of your scheduled events by clicking that down arrow. Does that make sense? Okay. With regards to the bell icon on the top right, that serves as your notifications. So if Jessica just created her event, you're on Clubhouse, you might see a notification come up that says Jessica just created this event. That's also an easy way to find it. If you are looking at Clubhouse right now, or if you do in the future, you can also go to the bottom right-hand corner. You're gonna see a square with dots. There's maybe like 9 dots or 6 dots. If you click on those dots, you're gonna be able to see how many people are online right now. If those people are in a room, you can click on their face and you'll see the little green dot means they're online. When you click on their face, it'll give you the option to go to the room they're speaking in. And then that will link you very quickly to the room that they're speaking in. That's usually the fastest way to do it and the easiest way that I find if I don't have the direct link. So if Jessica has an event next Tuesday, I'll put it on my calendar. I'll go online at that time, and then I'll click the dots in the bottom right-hand corner, and then I'll go to Jessica's face and then just go to the room she's speaking in. Is that clear? Maybe? Yes? Do you have any other questions about rooms? How to find rooms? We're also, next slide, we're going to go into some room etiquette. So I'm going to show you what people are doing in rooms so you don't get confused and you know what they're talking about. So any other questions? Thank you. Okay, awesome. Any other questions about rooms? No? Okay, we are moving to the next slide. Okay, room etiquette. Here again, this is all preference. Figure out if you like big rooms, small rooms. You don't even have to figure it out. It really doesn't matter. Small rooms, you're more likely to speak. Big rooms, you'll get some really big names, some celebrities, some influencers, and sometimes you'll get a lot of information. You will want to pay attention to certain moderators and certain rooms because rooms are run very differently. Some rooms, they'll let people go on and speak for hours, and others, they're really diligent about making sure people get to the point and talk real fast. So it's up to you. It also depends how you're listening to it. If you have Clubhouse on in the background, you may not mind if people are just going on and on about their stories. If you are sitting there really alert and paying attention to Clubhouse, you're probably going to want people to get to the point faster. So it's all up to you. You'll notice when you're in your room how much your circle around your profile picture will allow you to stand out. And you'll see on the bottom right-hand corner, you'll be able to raise your hand. Some rooms will turn off the raising hand function if there's too many people that are asking questions and there's too many people on stage. So that's just something to keep in mind. If it's not working, it just means that they've turned off that function. When you get to talk, provide value. In my opinion, keep it short and your energy is going to speak for itself. Just be confident, just breathe and be cool. And if you're not, that's fine too. Nobody will even remember. So one thing that is becoming more prevalent on Clubhouse is this inclusivity. Reason being is if people are hearing impaired, there are apps that people are able to download so that hearing impaired can still be listening. They're not actually listening, right? They're probably seeing, I'm not actually sure how the app works, but they're probably seeing the transcript on their phone. And so it's really important, especially in the bigger groups, you're going to hear people talk about, let's be inclusive for people that are hearing impaired or that may have other disabilities. So it'll be important for you, what they're going to tell you is make sure you introduce yourself and mention when you're done speaking. That way in the transcript, it'll say, you know, Vanessa introduces herself, Vanessa's done speaking. And it'll be easier for people to follow if they are using an app. So that's also a really good tip if you're moderating a room to remind people, please introduce yourself by just saying Vanessa is speaking or so-and-so is speaking now and I'm done speaking, or that is my question, or I am done, so that they conclude their dialogue. Another thing that you'll notice when you go into rooms is people on stage, if they're turning their mic on and off, and you're thinking, what's going on? They all want to speak at the same time. They're actually clapping. That's the clapping if they agree or they are saying, yes, like good point, good value. So if you're on stage and you have your mic, you can clap as well when other people are speaking and say something of value that you really like without having to say, good job. You just kind of turn your mic on and off. Now, people are also using sound effects and music, which is really fun. So I'm going to have to actually, one of my friends on Clubhouse sent me an app, so I can share that with you. I haven't downloaded it yet. That has clapping sound effects, all different types of sound effects that you can also add to make your room more interesting. A couple rooms are also using music as a signal that you're talking too long, kind of like the Oscars. So if the music goes on, that means, okay, let's start wrapping it up and let's start getting to your point and asking your question. You'll also notice that some people will say, start by saying my question is. And usually rooms like that want to get you to the point really quick, and then you say my question is yada yada yada. Okay? You may still be able to say, hey, I'm a mindset and business coach. My question is blah blah blah. So just keep it concise and pay attention to how the room is running before you maybe put your hand up and start speaking, so that you know the etiquette that room is following. You'll also notice, and I'm going to talk about when moderating a room, some other tips that you might want to include to make sure that you're moderating the room effectively and people are having a good experience. Any other questions about rooms before we move on to the next slide? Is there anything you've seen in rooms that you want to share or you want to ask about, or something that you've really liked that you've seen in rooms that you want to share? Anyone? Okay. I don't think we have another question that's going back to invites. So I am going to answer that question. Remind me, Beth, I'm going to come back to this question at the end so that I don't go back. Is that okay? All right. So we're going to go to the next slide. So moderating, a couple other things to consider when moderating, in addition to the room etiquette that I was just talking about. You're going to hear people say, pull down to reset. What this means is just like what it sounds. If you're on your phone, pull down the room and it'll reset. It'll reset the speakers. It'll reset who's on stage so that you can actually see who's on stage and in what order. They'll also tell you, I'm sure, follow the moderators, and they'll tell you, they'll often, well, this is you. So let me rephrase this. You're now moderating. So a couple other things to mention is please follow the moderators. Make sure your moderators quickly introduce themselves and or answer a question. So for example, on Friday, we are doing a conscious entrepreneurship chat all about sex and business and the importance of sensuality in your professional life. So intriguing, I know. So I'm going to get everyone just quickly introduce yourself and mention why you think sex and sensuality is important in business and what role that plays. And they'll hopefully give it in 1 or 2 sentences. So something to consider. You'll also, as a moderator, remind people, please tap on people's profile, take a look at who they are, and please connect to them on Instagram and take the networking off this app. Pinging into a room is also a really great function. So when you're in a room, you'll notice at the bottom, there'll be a plus sign. When you click on that plus sign, you'll be able to invite other people into the room. You can invite people that are online and offline. If people are offline, if they do not have notifications, you won't be able to send them a message about it. But if they do, you can send them a message about it. If they don't have their notifications on, you can still send them, actually, I believe, a DM, like an actual message saying, come to this room, a text message, come to this room with me right now. But pinging into the room is a really great way to get more people into your room. So if you're moderating, please remind people, ping people in, go to the bottom right-hand corner. You're going to have to tell them exactly what to do. So many people are new on Clubhouse. Give people direction. So when I'm moderating, I say, let's all take a moment, go down to the bottom, let's ping people in. So you're going to go down to the bottom, go to the plus sign, and actually invite people into the room. I actually give them step-by-step guides. You can also, when you're moderating, make sure that your co-moderators are on board with you. And feel free to encourage them to ask questions also if nobody in the audience has questions and you want to continue getting momentum and value out there in your room. Are there any other questions about moderating rooms, or you being a moderator, or you co-moderating, before we move on to the next slide? I'm going to have a sip of water. to give you a second if you have a question.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, is it easier to find followers or people that are gonna that you can also collaborate with in rooms instead of just following individual people? What's the fastest way to grow your audience too, so that people can also follow you? Because I believe that what you're saying is like everything that you can do to get into the house, the moderators and the clubhouses, but will that help like your personal account to grow?
Well, truthfully, it doesn't matter who you follow to grow, in my opinion. How you would grow is asking questions and providing value and hosting rooms. So you want to be able to speak to and connect with people on Instagram in order to get more followers. In my opinion, I don't think following people, because of what I talked about in the beginning, where you don't get too many follow for follows right now on Clubhouse, because people are noticing if I follow you and you don't have the same interest, then it doesn't matter. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, what do you mean? Yeah, we can chat about it more at the end as well. I think really looking at your intention, and when you say, is it easier? I think it just, let's talk more about the clarification of what do you mean by easier. So let's come back to that question at the end, and we can chat more about tips and tools of how to build followers. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, we'll come back to that for sure. Okay, now networking. This might also answer some of those questions of how to grow your followers, because you want to create rooms and you want to network. So the best way that I have seen to network is obviously bringing it off of Clubhouse and actually chatting with people on Instagram. So what I do is I take photos of the rooms I'm in. I also especially take photos of the rooms I'm in when I'm speaking. I then go on Instagram and I say, hey, I'm in this awesome room, and I tag those people. Most likely they're going to share it because people want to be promoting Clubhouse right now. I'll also make sure I follow the moderators if I am interested in their rooms. I like their rooms. I like their vibe. I'm not just going to really follow people for the sake of following people, but I will, if I also like their vibe, bring it into Instagram. So I go onto Instagram. The cool thing is being on Clubhouse has increased my Instagram following as well. So what I normally do, I always here are some tips of what my language looks like, but I always like to offer value, and I really want to support people. So if I like their vibe, I usually say like, hey, Adam, I saw you in your networking Clubhouse room tonight, and I really loved your vibe. You know, when's your next room? I'd love to join and support and or share it. Please let me know. You know, something like that. So I always offer to join and support, and they'll usually tell me when their next room is. You can also ask them if they'd like to come in on a room that you're hosting. Just say, I loved your vibe. You know, would you be interested in co-hosting or helping me moderate a room that I have already scheduled next week? Again, you're giving value. Don't ask them to be a moderator in their room. The etiquette around that right now is, it just doesn't look right when people say like, hey, can I moderate with you? Unless you have had previous conversation and unless they have asked for moderators, right? Because again, the vibe is more like you're taking before you actually want to give, because hosting rooms does take some work and does take some coordination. So go out there, host rooms, and then ask people to come on yours. You can also message people who aren't moderators. You can message people that ask questions or that were in the audience. So if you're looking for leads and you want to use this as a business tool, you can message people that ask questions. And so, for example, I was a moderator on a huge room this week with hundreds of people, but because it was so big, only 2 moderators could answer and offer advice per question. So I wouldn't always get my feedback in. So what I would do is find that person who asked the question on Instagram by going to their profile and clicking their Instagram. And I'd say, you know, hey, Derek, I heard your question about networking in the Clubhouse room tonight. I'd love to offer you some additional suggestions if that would be helpful. And usually we could start a dialogue that way. So even if you're not on stage, you can still find connections, still network. And that's also a great way to build your following. If you're not going to talk, reach out to them, connect on Instagram, and then start that conversation on Instagram and say, hey, like, you know, feel free to follow me, or I have a room that you might be interested in this coming Thursday. So it does take a little bit more work if you're going to network outside of the app, but it's really genuine and also provides a lot of value for business and personal. What other things do I offer here? So create rooms, find moderators, don't ask to moderate. However, an exception also to this don't ask to moderate, go into the Ladies on Clubhouse Facebook group. That's a great way to say, hey, my interests are this, this, and that. If you need another moderator, please let me know. I'm always here to moderate. That's a great way. Another way to ask to moderate is after you have built connection, after you've already been asking questions, providing value, going to people's rooms over and over and over, they're going to start to see your face. Once they start to see your face over and over, that's a really great time to say, hey, like if you have any rooms coming up and you need any help moderating, just know I'm totally here for you. Let me know if you need any additional support. So the room I was in this past week with hundreds of people in it, that's how I actually became a moderator in that group. It was a 50-hour room, and I had been in this gentleman's room many, many times, and we had already been talking on Instagram, and I just said, hey, I know with this long room it takes a lot of time and energy, and if you need more people to help you moderate, just let me know. I'm totally here for you and happy to support in any way. So those are some ways around that. Any questions about how you might want to network and or take the conversation off of Clubhouse and onto Instagram? We're almost done, and then we can go into some more discussion. But I also hope that that helped with regards to the question about followers. So someone says, I'm not on Instagram yet. Will it hurt me, my brand in any way if I join in order to communicate with Clubhousers? Honestly, probably. Do you use Twitter? So you can link your Twitter or your Instagram. I have seen people who don't have Instagram just start an Instagram for Clubhouse, and it's pretty obvious because in their bio, it literally just says, you know, created my Instagram for Clubhouse, feel free to message me here, and they have like 1 or 2 pictures. So even if you don't have a functioning Instagram and want to create something for Clubhouse, that's also an option. I don't use Twitter either. Yes. So if you don't have Twitter and you don't have Instagram, 100%, it is going to impact your networking ability on Clubhouse because they won't have any way to contact you and you won't have any way to contact them. LinkedIn and Facebook are not connected at this point in time. So if you just want to go and listen and go into rooms and learn, then that's okay. I think go back to what's your intention of the app. What do you want to use it for? And then that's totally your call, because not having Twitter and Instagram right now will impact your ability to communicate with people. I just created an Instagram account and haven't posted anything, but I'm already getting followers and DMs. Yeah, perfect. So see, it's okay if you don't have one, just start one. And it's okay if it's not really functioning, because people want to be able to contact you. I have 2 Instagrams and I would like to change to the other one. I've tried and I can only delete which I tried and add the other one, but only successful adding the same one. You're going to have to email Clubhouse about that. Again, because Clubhouse is a new app, there are glitches, 100%. I've had glitches too in Clubhouse, and it's just something that they are working on. For example, you cannot change a name of your club once you've created the club, which is kind of a problem. So yes, so hopefully they continue to change that. I wouldn't worry so much about what Instagram's connected right now if it's not working. I would pay attention to, I have a bunch of different Instagrams also. So what I did is I made sure that I was logged into the specific Instagram that I wanted to connect to Clubhouse first. So I made sure I was logged into that. And then when I went into Clubhouse, it naturally connected to the account that I was already logged into. So I'm not sure if that helps that at all, but I would also message Clubhouse if you continue to have that problem. Okay, we're almost done. So business strategy, again, go back to what are your goals with Clubhouse? How do you want to use the app? What do you want to use it for? This is going to help you plan your strategy. So are you the type of person that's just going to have Clubhouse on your phone and listen to it like the radio or a podcast? Or are you going to plan an hour a day to go on Clubhouse, to speak, to really engage and go in rooms? I'm more of the latter. I plan time every day to go on Clubhouse. And then I also have my schedule that I've created. So on Clubhouse, I go live Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, and then again at 12 p.m. on Fridays. So I'm doing a room 4 times a week. And then I also co-moderate sometimes a room on Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I kind of have my schedule of when I'm hosting rooms, and then other times I go on and learn. And then I also have my notifications on for certain people to make sure that I get notified when they speak. I have gotten amazing coaching, amazing contacts just from connecting with people online. I have been online with people that charge thousands upon thousands of dollars for their coaching, and I've been in a room with 10 people and I've gotten free advice. And I was in a room the other day with a ton of YouTubers that have millions of followers, and I was able to ask some YouTube questions, which is so great. Lewis Howes was in there and I was on stage with him, and it's really fun. Even Elon Musk was on Clubhouse last night doing a room. So it's pretty cool. You can chat with some really interesting people. So that's my personal schedule. You can also schedule other people's rooms, expand your community, network, and a call to action is really important. Know how you're going to connect with people. Either some people have started a WhatsApp chat group. Some people have started Facebook groups, right? We have the Ladies on Clubhouse Facebook group. Some people have started Facebook chats, or again, domain names. You can buy domain names that have Clubhouse in the title or .club that you can use as a call to action for a free download, webinar, or whatever. Can you pitch your business on Clubhouse, or is this better when you take it to your IG? Great question. So in short, you're going to want to pay attention to what groups you're in. Some groups are actual pitch groups. You can, if you want to pitch your business, go into those pitch groups and they just sit there and allow you to pitch. And that's the purpose of the group. Most groups that I'm following do not allow you to business promote. I don't, I just like them being a little bit more authentic. So most of the groups that I'm in, the business transaction happens on Instagram, where if they are on Clubhouse, they may say, send me a message and I'll send you this free link. Or they may give a call to action on Clubhouse, like, I have this free resource, I'm happy to send it to you. But the actual business promotion doesn't happen too much. But again, it depends what groups or rooms you're a part of. Most of my rooms, they'll do a quick intro. Like I said before, for example, I'll say, hey, Vanessa speaking here. I am a mindset expert and business strategist, coach, and speaker. And here is my question. So the groups I'm a part of, it's usually a one-liner of what you do. And once you're on for a while, the business pitch on Clubhouse doesn't work too well. It really works a lot better in Instagram. I hope that answers your question. Any other questions about business promotion on Clubhouse. We have one more slide and we are finito. Okay, I'm going to go to the slide, and then if you have any other questions, start popping them in, and then we'll go to a Q&A. So again, your next steps, figure out what your goal and intention is for Clubhouse. You look at your profile, make sure that that's optimized, follow people you actually want to connect with and you want to see their rooms, create your own Clubhouse schedule. Really think about, when do I want to be on? How do I want to use this app? Plan some of your own rooms and find moderators to moderate with so you can continue to grow your community on Clubhouse. So make sure to stay on the Ladies on Clubhouse Facebook group. We're going to continue to share updates. Within the Clubhouse app, they'll also share updates. So at the bell on the top right-hand corner, they're going to share updates that you can check into. I'm hosting a ton of rooms coming up, so if you want to moderate with me, please send me a DM on Instagram. Let me know you want to help moderate with me, or I also post them in Ladies on Clubhouse, so you can let me know if you want to help moderate any of those. I have the same handle on Instagram and Clubhouse. And if you want help of how to actually continue to execute what we talked about and how to incorporate Clubhouse into your business strategy, let me know. I'm happy to give you a free Clubhouse strategy session. Let me know, and I'm always happy to continue to give you more information. So we're going to go to our Q&As right now. So can you recap the domain? So what I would do is go to GoDaddy.com and type in some domains and see, right? I have a couple that I purchased. I purchased some that had Clubhouse in the actual title.com, and then I also purchased some that were .club. So you can just kind of search whatever makes sense for your business. If you want to have a free download or a Clubhouse newsletter or whatever, it's a really cool way. You can also, if you have a website, you can do /Clubhouse. So my website's vanessaortali.com. I can do /Clubhouse and then put specific Clubhouse information there if I wanted to, if you don't want to purchase a specific domain. Does that answer your question? Maybe? Cool, let me know. Any other questions? If you guys want to go back to chatting about followers, let me know. I know we had a couple questions about how to get more followers. I hope that I've given you a ton of information that can help with that. Really be consistent, go on, speak with people, follow people, send them messages on Instagram, provide value. As soon as you speak and as soon as you provide value, and if people like you, people like your energy, they're gonna follow you, I promise. Does that answer all of your questions? Okay, I'm just gonna wait a couple minutes in case someone is putting any questions in the chat box. If you're still with me, I'd love to know, what is your biggest takeaway? I know we went over a lot, but if you have a biggest takeaway or something that you didn't know, please make a note in the chat box so I know what information I should share with other people. Can you go back one slide? I sure can. That was this one. Is this the slide you're referring to? Setting your Clubhouse intention is huge. Yeah, totally. For me, I definitely want to, my biggest intention is networking with other speakers. I really want to continue to expand my network with other speakers, other coaches, and really just continue to learn from them. And I also want to go into rooms that I can learn. So hence why I was on the YouTube room the other day. I learned a ton of stuff for YouTube, and I just want to learn from the best of the best. And I mean, there's so much amazing information out there. It is remarkable, and we can get in rooms with all of these people. Cool. Okay, I'll give it one more minute. If you have any questions, I am here. If you go on the app and you have more questions later, send me a DM on Clubhouse or anywhere. I'm all ears. I am here for you. I'm very new to Clubhouse. All this was valuable. Okay, cool. Thanks. I know when I first started Clubhouse, I was so overwhelmed. I was thinking, how the heck do I do this? But you'll catch on pretty quick. Need to get an iPhone now. I know, right? Even I'm on the phone with so many of my Android friends, and they're saying, oh my gosh, I have to get an iPhone. I need to get in. Any not-for-profits? So yes, there are tons of not-for-profits on Clubhouse right now. There's tons of rooms and lots of people to connect with. You can literally connect with anyone right now. Producers, investors, even Kevin O'Leary was doing a casting call on Clubhouse yesterday, which was kind of fun. So there you go. Okay, I don't see any more questions coming through, so I'm going to finish up. So what's the best business strategy to get on? You need an invite. So if you need an invite, just keep asking. Go into Ladies on Clubhouse Facebook group and ask if anyone has an invite and see if someone will give you an invite, or just continue asking your network to see if they have an invite that they can give you. It's so cute. Tony says, Clubhouse is incredible. You must join. Oh, really? Elon's speaking again tonight? There you go. Cool. So someone does. Someone has some invites here. So message, I'm not going to say their name out loud because this is being recorded. But someone here, as you can see in the chat box, has 4 invites. So let her know, and then she can ask that person to send you one, okay? Awesome. Alrighty. Love you, ladies. Have a great evening, and we'll chat with you soon. Bye.